So I want to teach you things how to surprise your viewers. That's what we have here. So you don't just have plain old boring shots. And I'm going to cover some of the common mistakes that all beginning photographers make. And show you the world, because you're going to see the world differently than everybody else. I see it differently than most are. You taping me? Pay no attention to the lady behind the camera. So here's a nice little quote of what photography is. You're capturing something in that moment that just happened. And a lot of times you have to be at the right place at the right time to capture that moment. Other times you have to plan ahead. If I see something I really like, but the lighting is really terrible, I'll just make a little note of it saying, I need to be back at this spot on an evening night or early in the morning because the lighting is going to be just right for me. So then you're going to capture that moment. So let's start off, what makes a camera work? Two words photography is photo, meaning light, and graphy, or roughly that, is writing or painting. So there's two important things. Well, the most important thing is exposure. As you start studying photography more, you're going to keep seeing the word exposure, capturing light. And what that is in the film days as well as today, when you push that button and the shutter opens up, you're exposing the film to light. Today we don't have film, we have a digital sensor, so you still do the same thing. You're exposing it to light. And so you're capturing light. That's what photography is, you're capturing light. So as long as you keep that part in the back of your mind, that's what your camera's doing. Because all this is essentially it's a computer with a hole in the front. As soon as you push that button, it opens up the hole, which is the shutter, and you capture light. Beyond that, it's up to you to decide what kind of light to capture. So the biggest thing about exposure is you want to make sure you got the right amount of light. Not too much, not too, sort of the image is really bright, or if you don't have enough light, then it's going to be a very dark image. And there's actually three ways to do it, but the main two that I'm going to talk about tonight is via the shutter. How long is that shutter opened up to allow the light to come in? And then aperture, I forgot to bring my little aperture toy with me. Aperture is like the pupils in our eyes. They get bigger and smaller to adjust to the lighting in the room. Your lens has an aperture in it that gets bigger and smaller as well to allow more light or less light to come into the lens or onto the sensor. So when you look at your camera and you start playing with some of the knobs, you're going to see shutter speeds. You're going to see these kind of numbers up there. These are fractions of a second. So that's 1/1000th of a second, 1/8 of a second, 1/4 of a second. So that's how long that shutter is open, allowing the light to come in. And you notice it's almost exactly double. So half, quarter, 1/8, 1/15, it's doubling. Well, it's actually having the amount of time. You know, that's why it's doubling. 1 second, 2 seconds, 4 seconds, 8, 15 is not quite double. It's not exact. We're not tuning a piano. We're just capturing light. So that's what those numbers mean when you see them in the back of your camera. You look at your menus and you see that number. You're going to see, most of the time you're going to see something in the 1/25th, 1/250th of a second. That's what that is. It's just a 1/200th of a second that the shutter opened up and closed again to allow the light to come in. And if you think of it that way, each one doubles it. Each time you change from one to the other, you're doubling the amount of light coming in. If you go the other direction, say from 8 to 15, only half as much light is allowed to get into your camera. So that exposure is only maybe half the value it was before.
The higher the number, the lower.
Yeah, the higher the number, the faster the shutter is. The faster the shutter, the less light is coming in. So you're going to use the shutter speed to either stop action or to blur it. So if the shutter's open longer, whatever's in front of it's going to get blurry if it's moving fast. Fast shutter speed is you're going to stop that action. And that's the two things you want to do with shutter speed. So here, fast shutter speed, stop the action of the horse moving. If I had gone with a slower shutter speed, like a half second, they'd all be blurry. Stopping the burning of this only lasted maybe a second or two. I broke the glass up with the light bulb, and as soon as I turned the light on, I had to start taking pictures of the camera as it burned itself out. Just having fun. I got a fire extinguisher right here, so don't worry. So shooting water, that's what most people think about when they're shooting motion, is water and waterfalls. So here's a fast shutter speed, the water's, I'm stopping the action. You can see it, the spray is stopping. So a lot of times if you're at the ocean, that's what you want to do. You want to stop that spray, then you want to go with something that's a little bit faster. Sometimes you want to slow it down and blur it. So that's what the main differences are. So same spot, now I'm using a really long, 5-10 seconds, and you get this really nice look to this. So it's just what do you want to see? What do you want to show your viewers when you took that picture? If you want to go even longer, this is 2 minutes. I'm standing on the beach, that beach is right about here. waves are crashing back and forth, but I have my camera on a tripod, so nothing else is moving. The pier's not moving, the old dock isn't moving, but the waves are going back and forth, and they just get silky smooth like this. If I went a little bit longer, the clouds just started getting smooth as well. But I had too much light. That was the problem you're on against. I couldn't go longer than 2 minutes because there's still too much light. But you gotta think about those things there. You go, what's that light gonna look like? Can I go around the other side? Is the light gonna be better there? Same with sunsets. If you're taking a great photo of a sunset, it's gonna look all pretty. Turn around and look behind you and see what's being lit up. You'll be amazed at how many things you're gonna see lit up, especially here in Anacortes. It's really neat in the summertime when the sun's higher. Some of these buildings light up really nice because you just get that golden glow. That's what we call it, golden glow, as the sun's going down. So this is over here at the trestle. Slow shutter speed makes that train look like it's flying really fast, and actually it's only going walking speed. But I make the viewers think that this train's going fast by using the slower shutter speed. Or faster, you catch the pup in the air. Actually, they call it kids, I think. Foxes. So the other thing I talk about is the aperture. I generally have a little toy here that shows me how an aperture works, but it's the opening inside the lens. And it's very similar to your pupils. You go into a darker room, your pupils get larger to allow more light in. So these are the numbers you're going to see for apertures. It's backwards again, it's a fraction. So the smaller the number, the bigger the opening. So this is actually 1 over 5.6. So the smaller the number, the larger the number, the smaller the opening. So when your pupils get really small and pinpoint, there's not much light coming in. That's what, like an F16. But when your pupils get really large, then you're down to an F6 or an F4 or 2, depending on if your camera can go that low or not. So now we have how long the shutter is open and how big the hole is that the light's going to pass through. So those are the two main things that control your exposure. Here's the holes. The same thing as the shutters. Half as much light, twice as much light. As the hole gets bigger, you're going to let twice as much light in. So you got to, when I'm shooting that beach, I had to keep track of how much light was coming in. Otherwise, it would be too bright the way it looked at it. Here, I want everything from my toes to that mountain in the back to be in focus. So this is going to be your F16, 18, 20, 22 range. If you want everything in focus. And make sure you're on a tripod when you do something like this. Because at F20, the aperture is so small that there's very little light getting in there. So the shutter has to be open a little bit longer to balance it out and get enough light for this to happen. So again, we're talking about exposure, getting the right amount of light onto your sensor. So your images aren't too bright and they aren't too dark. Each time you change one value or the other, you have to change the opposite one as well. So if you make your shutter speed go up, you have to make the aperture go down. It's like a teeter-totter. So you're always balancing one to the other to make sure you get the proper light.